one.
Assuming nothing changed as far as Kevin's status goes, what kind of minutes restrictions or limits will it be on today?
There aren't any minutes restrictions per se, but it'll be based on his level of conditioning and fatigue. And I can't imagine in the first game back that I'm going to run him huge minutes. So it's probably just to check in with him occasionally, see how he's feeling. As soon as I see him fatiguing, lagging a little bit, I'll take him out, and we'll see where it goes. But we'd like to get him a really good run and get him some rhythm, and hopefully up the minutes each of the next 2 games.
Plays for him. What do you tell him to do in this situation?
I told him defensive rebounding. I'm not concerned about the offense for good reason. He's going to score points. Even if he's not shooting well, he's going to score points. But the whole thing, when we start our playoff series next week, is we got to be locked in defensively, and so that has to be his focus tonight and the next 2 nights before game 1.
Steve, and how is Steph's knee coming along?
Steph's good. He didn't shoot around again this morning. He got treatment, but we anticipate him playing on Monday. And Sean Livingston will start.
Hey Steve, how I like a Kevin Durant the first time back, because he's gone throughout his career out so hard. I mean, this is a big moment for him, but you got to kind of play it cool.
Yeah, he didn't even like it this past summer when he signed with us. When I told him that our starters basically all played 33 or 34 minutes. He didn't like that at all. So I'm a 38 to 40 guy, and he wants to be out there all the time. And so I have to rein him in and make sure that we're doing the smart thing, and that's what we're going to do tonight.
Steve, these last 3 games, is it almost like a preseason kind of a feel, other than getting Durant run to gear up for the playoffs? Just how will you manage it overall, you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit like that. I hesitate to use that term myself because we're obviously getting ready for the playoffs. We're not getting ready for game 1 of an 82-game season. So there's a little more sense of urgency, but there is a similar feeling in that I really don't care that much if we win or not. So that's a kind of a weird paradox. Like you're trying to sharpen up and be ready to roll without caring that much about the outcome. Can we find that balance? And so what I've challenged the team with is, box out, don't give up the weak side backdoor stuff, no silly turnovers that lead to easy layups. Those are the things I'm looking for. But I will not be gearing the lineups and the rotations towards, trying to close with a certain lineup in order to win the game. It's more just, let's get everybody their minutes and let's have everybody be sharp during their runs and play a solid game. Whatever happens, happens.
Along those lines, will you rotations with Kevin back and without Steph?
Yeah, well, it's a little tricky without Steph, so because that alters everything. So we'll. This is more tonight about monitoring minutes, not only for Kevin but for Andre and Sean as well, mixing and matching, and probably I don't anticipate Draymond or Clay playing more than 30 minutes. So everybody's got to be ready to roll, and we'll probably worry more about rotations the next 2 games when Steph is back.
Anything you perhaps improved or got better in while Durant has been out?
I think we got dialed in defensively, but as I said to you guys the other day, I think that would have happened anyway because we felt that appropriate fear that we talk about. Losing 5 of 7 opens your eyes and it forces you to confront your weaknesses. And defensively, we were not good during that stretch. So we got better defensively, but I think we should become even better defensively with Kevin back.
And do you think there's anything in his absence?
I don't know. You can ask him. I think it's always a little different, when you're on the sidelines and you get a chance to look at it from a different perspective. But I don't know what he would say to that.
Steve, have you heard anything it's going to be? Is it going to be Saturday that you know?
I haven't heard anything.
Do you care?
Not really.
You've done Saturdays the last 2
I
years.
think we have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it was a quick turnaround. I especially remember the first year when we played New Orleans. It was a really quick turnaround. It was like a 12:30 game, and we finished on Wednesday night. It felt very rushed, but obviously it works. Works both ways, and it shouldn't matter. I mean, we gotta just play whenever they tell us to play.
Steve, when expect the rotation to look pretty similar to what it was when before Durant got injured? I know you liked what you were doing there.
Yeah, I think so. I think we were in a really good place when Kevin went out, and the rotation was solid. On the other hand, we've been in a pretty good place these last couple of weeks too, and that has included Ian Clark playing with that second and fourth quarter groups, and we're not sure what we're going to do yet. We'll play with it a little bit.
Coach, the last bench, which was so important to the success of this team, and this year's bench is a much different group in some respects. Can you talk about how important that has been during this stretch and also heading into the postseason with Kevin out and guys like Andre and D.West stepping up?
The bench has been great, and we've been really lucky the last few years. We've had a ton of depth. Our bench is a little bit different this year than it has been. Maybe less scoring, but more options at the center position. D.West gives us a different dimension we haven't had at all in terms of a post-up game, both low block and the high post as a passer. So it's a different group, but it's very versatile. Matt Barnes has given us a huge lift, and obviously Sean and Andre have really stepped it up the last couple of weeks. So we feel like we have a really deep team.
Has it been a surprise at all, or no?
No.
Okay.
I was just going to be, what has Matt Barnes given you since he's been filling in for Katie? And as the playoffs approach and he's back, do you see a role for Matt in the playoffs?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I told Matt the other day, it's like, I'm a baseball fan. I mean, Matt's like a fifth starter who gives you 200 innings. He's not going to win the Cy Young, but he's going to give you a lot of innings. And, if you get blown out one game, he'll just, he'll come in middle relief if you want, give you 6 innings. Maybe he'll come in and throw two batters late in the game in a playoff game. Like, Matt is he's jack of all trades, and he makes the rest of the game easier for us because we can fill him in at any position. And so the versatility that he provides allows us a lot of flexibility with the lineups and rotations. And then on top of all that, he never ever has any issue with anything. He says, put me in whenever you want, I'll be ready. And he could start, you play 2 minutes, but he's always going to be ready and he'll produce. You have a good baseball name that we could come up with?
Utility.
No, I mean an actual name. Like my son's a big Cubs fan. We used to talk about Jason Marquis, who used to pitch for the Cubs. Pitched for a lot of teams. Every game it was like 6 2/3. You give up, 8 hits, 4 runs. He didn't win any Cy Youngs, but 8 up innings. So Matt's Jason Marquis.
How does it compare to last year when you guys were chasing 73?
How does it compare?
Yeah.
Much more low key, much more sort of preparation mode. Just kind of easing into this last week, whereas last year, if I remember correctly, we had to go on the road to win in San Antonio, next to last game, and we had a big game at home against Memphis. It was drawing all the viewers, and so it was a big deal heading in, and I don't really think that hurt us. A lot of people have kind of made a big deal of maybe we shouldn't have pushed for 73 wins. Probably the same people who complain that we rest players this year, but whatever. It's just, things play out different. Every season is different, and I wouldn't change anything about last year. I mean, we were in a great position going into the playoffs. Things didn't quite fall our way, but we had a hell of a run, and we'll try to have another great run this year. And it's a different approach based on the circumstances, and we feel like we're set up pretty well, and we'll keep our fingers crossed on the health front.
Steve, for most of it on the glass, but the last few recent games, there's been some slippage there. Can you pinpoint as to what's going on in terms of the rebounding deficit?
Yeah, laziness. Honestly, we won we won about 10 straight because we were dialed in and we were a little angry and we responded, and then we won the last 3 because we just won because we have a lot of talented players, but we stopped boxing out.
Is that it? Cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. Locker room, we'll be open at 6:15.